Beautiful boxing fans, one of my favorite fighters in the sport of boxing. The man's name, if you don't know him, you're about to know him. Jesus Ramos Jr., one of the baddest, most violent and youngest contenders in the sport of boxing. The man actually, his fight just got announced. He's going to be fighting on the Keith Thurman undercard versus Sebastian Fundora. And the man just moved up from 154 to 160. And listen, when he was at 154, he was one of the biggest 154 pounders I have ever seen in my life. The man is violent. He's a southpaw. He's a puncher. He can take a punch. And as far as I'm concerned, he's undefeated. Because he was robbed on the Canelo versus Charlo undercard versus Erickson Lubin. He was robbed in one of the most disgusting robberies you will ever see. But nonetheless, the man is back for the interim championship of the world versus Shane Mosley. Now, I believe that he's going to absolutely destroy, mop the floor, annihilate Shane Mosley. I believe that Shane Mosley is extremely, extremely overrated. And I believe that the only reason why Shane Mosley is relevant these days is because he's a Mosley. Nonetheless, this is not what we are here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Jesus Ramos talking about sparring Terence but Crawford. And actually, he didn't just spar him, but the man made his pick versus Canelo. And he is definitely favoring Bud Crawford from what he's talking about. And the man is Mexican. The man is, let me tell you, Jesus Ramos, mark my words, the man will go on to become a multi-division world champion. Mark my words. The man actually did an interview, and I'm going to post the full link of the interview in the description. And the man talked about his experience sparring Bud Crawford. And not just sparring Bud Crawford, but watching Terence Bud Crawford spar 168 pounders nearly 5 to 6 years ago. And not only was he sparring 168 pounders 4 or 5 years ago when he was new at 147, but he was sparring them outside of camp. How much of a dog Terence Bud Crawford is. Let's talk about it, and let me play you, beautiful people, what the man came out and said. Two clips I'm going to play for you. This is the first one. Hold on, beautiful fans.
I think he's got done, with his style and
fight hype
and his IQ.
Fight hype interview.
I think he can. I think he can get the job done. I think he's got what it takes. Obviously, it's unfortunate that Canelo's just so big and so strong, but he's gifted. Terence is gifted. He's got that ring IQ. He can box him. He definitely can. Canelo's not that big of a guy. He's short, but he's strong. So as long as Crawford can, keep him on the outside boxing, I think he can get the job done. And Bivol was obviously just stronger, but he was more active in there with Canelo, and I think that's what kept Canelo, thinking a lot. I feel like Crawford will be doing the same, having thinking a lot and having real hesitant, And he's got great legs, he's got great boxing, so I think it's a great fight, and I feel like Crawford is looking for the bigger fight, so I think that's the fight to make for him at this point of his career.
So, you know how he just talked about, this is the first clip, I'm going to play you the second sparring clip. You know how he talked about the Bivol fight? I actually watched the Bivol fight today. I have never watched as much tape as I have in the last 2 weeks in my entire life. I have been watching I have already watched every single Canelo fight available and every single Bud Crawford fight available on the internet. And my respect to both men grew so much. Now, whoever says, whether it's a boxer or a trainer or a fan, whoever says that Canelo is just a flat-footed Mexican or Canelo is one-dimensional, you have no idea what you're talking about. And for whoever says that Bud Crawford is overrated or Bud Crawford, the only reason why he's been looking good is because of the opposition, you have no idea what you're talking about. There's a reason why Canelo Alvarez is taking this fight more serious than ever. There's a reason why Bud Crawford is taking this fight more serious than ever. Why? Because they see what I see. They see an all-time great facing off against them. Now, let me play you the second clip of Jesus Ramos talking about Crawford.
Definitely think so, because I feel like I said, that mental pressure that Crawford has is different. It's effective. It's you got to be on your toes the whole time. You know, it's like you might come down to the body, but maybe it's just the feint and he's coming up top. So that could really mess with Canelo. I don't think Canelo's going to be as fast as Crawford. So that's another thing he's got to worry about. And yeah, he's strong, but he's got to deliver that punch. You know, he's got to make sure he gets there, and that's going to be the problem that Canelo has. And for Crawford, I feel like he can get there faster and, you know, get out faster than Canelo can. I think so. I definitely think so, because...
So listen, when you actually look at this fight, when you actually look at both men, Canelo's power won't be the difference, and Crawford's power won't be the difference. It's going to be the skill. And if you actually watch Canelo's fights, there's a reason why he's not been knocking anyone out. And he had, like, I believe, like 3 knockouts in his, like, I don't know, in like the last 8 years or something, some crazy... Why? I'll tell you why. Because Canelo isn't really one of the hardest punchers ever. You know, Golovkin said he didn't feel, you know, much of Canelo's power. Liam Smith, I heard a podcast for him saying that Canelo hits hard, but nothing crazy. Canelo's skill is what's underrated. It's not his power. I mean, of course he got power because he sits down on all his shots. And he, like, got a power wide stance. And the man can definitely crack. But his power isn't what's winning him all these fights. You know, Charlo fought like a coward. But make no mistake, Charlo wasn't fought and outmatched because of the power. No, because of the skill. Canelo's skill overwhelmed Charlo, not Canelo's power. Canelo's skill overwhelmed Bamlanga, as Oscar likes to call him. And we will call him that because he's an excuse maker now. And when you talk about John Ryder, when you talk about all these fighters, Caleb Plant, all these fighters, they are getting beat up by Canelo, not because Canelo got so much power and they can't crack. No, it's because Canelo got so much more skills than them. And that is why Canelo's been beating all of them. And I believe in this Crawford fight, this is what we should be looking at. We should compare their skill versus skill. We shouldn't compare their chin versus chin. Or, I mean, you can. It's power versus power and chin versus chin. But Canelo's secret weapon is his skills, ladies and gentlemen. Crawford's secret weapon is his skills, ladies and gentlemen. Not their oppositions, not their knockout power. I mean, they can both punch like absolute trucks. They both got unbelievable IQ, unbelievable head movement. They both got everything. But their skill and the way they combine everything together in the fight, this is why both of them are the 2 greatest fighters I have ever seen in my generation. This is just purely my humble opinion. Now maybe you can tell me that Bivol, Beterbiev, this and that, Usyk, this guy, that guy. I respect your opinion. I get it. Listen, I get it. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as what my eyes have seen so far, in my time I have never seen anyone as good as Crawford, as dynamic as Crawford, and I have never seen as greater of a pressure/counter fighter like Canelo. This is from what my eyes have seen. And everything can lie, but your eyes don't lie. And I might be wrong. Well, you can tell me Usyk is better. I get it. But as far as I have seen, Canelo and Crawford are unbelievable. When I say unbelievable, I mean unbelievable in every bit of the word. They are truly remarkable, truly unbelievable, and truly there will never ever be someone like Crawford, and there will never ever be someone like Canelo ever again. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we gotta appreciate both men. They are still fighting, they are still active. They're gonna retire now. They're gonna retire very soon. I mean, Canelo, if Crawford wins, he's gonna retire for sure. If Canelo wins, he's probably gonna go on for a couple but like, what I mean is this, both fighters are retiring very soon. sooner than what you think. And it's very sad, because this sport without Crawford and Canelo, it will not be the same. I mean, sure, you're gonna have your Haney's, your Shakurs, your Ryans, the Rolly Romero, who else do we have? We're gonna have, even Usyk is retiring soon. I mean, listen, this is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy and appreciate both fighters while they are still here. Because tomorrow is not promised for all of us, but also, most importantly, tomorrow is not promised for these great men to remain in the sport. Well, not tomorrow, but after 2 weeks. Because after 2 weeks, they're gonna fight. But who's to say that we're ever gonna see them again after September 13th? I mean, what's today's date? 31st, ladies and gentlemen. 13 days left for the fight night. And there's a very strong chance that after 13 days, at least, one of them is gonna retire, if not both. And that is sad, but it's true. So enjoy both incredible fighters while they are still here, because they might retire very soon. And listen, September 13, whoever wins this fight, give them their full credit. Don't say Crawford was too small and that is why Canelo won. And don't say Canelo was washed and that's why Crawford won. We're not going to do that, at least on this channel. We're not going to do that over here. We're going to give both men all the credit in the world, because they deserve it. Because both of them are two of the greatest fighters of all time. And forget what the history books say. Forget their records, forget their resumes, forget how many belts they won, forget their nationalities, forget everything about them. Your eyes won't fool you. Stats might be a bit, might play with your judgment. The records, their forget everything. Just let your eyes watch them. You can't tell me that both of them aren't two of the greatest fighters your eyes will ever see. Because as far as I'm concerned, someone who's been watching the sport, someone who's been watching combat sports actually, forget boxing. I mean, I've been watching boxing for a few years now, but I've been watching combat sports for over a decade. Wrestling tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournaments, CGI, more recently, PFL, Bellator, UFC, boxing, high-level shows, club shows, influencer boxing, anything. I watch everything, and I've been watching everything for over a decade. And I have never seen a combat sports athlete as special as Canelo and as Crawford. And that says a lot, ladies and gentlemen. That says a lot. And I promise you this. In 13 days, I will be proven right. In 13 days, I promise you this. You are about to witness one of the highest level fights, not boxing matches, fights in combat sports history. One of the highest level matchups in the history of combat sports. For hundreds of years before us, and for how many ever years before this world ends. You will never see a fight like this one, I promise you. So just please, my beautiful people, enjoy them. Enjoy both men. And uplift both men. And whoever wins, give them all the credit. And whoever loses, give them all the respect. Why? Because they are simply two of the greatest fighters of all time. What more can I say? What more can I say, beautiful people, beautiful fans? You know, there's nothing much left to be said. Even though I'm still going to say a lot in the next 13 days before this fight. I'm probably going to post all videos related to this fight. until fight night comes. But, I promise you, this is about to be one of the greatest fights your eyes will ever see. And that is a promise.